Whatculture.
Our connection with our past is only going to get weaker as the years go by and the physical remnants of both you and human history decay. You'd think we were making great efforts to preserve our history, but in spite of all the museums, the World Heritage Sites, and Lenin in a glass coffin, we humans have sort of ruined a lot of our precious artifacts along the way. Hooray us. I'm Ben from Whatculture, and here are 10 incredible things mankind has managed to lose. Number 10. The Amber Room. The Amber Room was one of the greatest monuments of awesome overindulgence ever constructed. It was a room panelled in hundreds of kilograms of amber with precious stones all over the place, built for the Russian Tsar Peter the Great, who was a real lad apparently. Now, a room seems like a difficult thing to lose, what with it being part of a building, but to the Nazis, that just seemed like a challenge, so they decided to loot the hell out of it in 1941 and removed its entire contents, and after that, no one has any idea. Maybe it was destroyed in an air raid or buried somewhere by retreating forces who are now all dead. It's just gone, and that's a shame. Number 9. Some of the Fabergé eggs. They're enormously valuable and almost indefensibly ludicrous and impractical. Surely we know where they all actually are, right? No, as 7 of the 50 imperial eggs are missing. Most of the blame can be attributed to the regicidal bedlam of the Russian Revolution, where the treasures of the Tsars were spirited away to God knows where. One egg was last recorded in the Kremlin armory in 1922, after which it went walkabout, and another of them was sold in 1952 to someone reported only as a stranger. Considering how famous and stupidly valuable the Fabergé eggs were, a lot of people seemed very lax in keeping track of them. Number 8. Unused endings from It's a Wonderful Life. It's a Wonderful Life is one of the world's favourite films and ever present of TV's Christmas schedules, but one of the criticisms levelled at the film is that the slimy Mr. Potter, right, who steals the deposit money to kick off hero George's various woes, seems to get away with being a titanic arse, and he never gets the punishment the movie's sense of morality suggests he should receive. In fact, he does, but fate has decreed you're not allowed to see it. An alternative ending was filmed featuring Mr. Potter, right, keeling over with a heart attack while counting his ill-gotten gains. Director Frank Capra thought this was a bit mean, however, so he ditched the ending, and the footage has never turned up. Number 7. Charles Whitman's brain. Charles Whitman was the deeply troubled individual who climbed up a clock tower on the 1st of August 1966 and proceeded to shoot at passers-by with a rifle. He killed a total of 16 people and wounded many more before being shot dead by police. Whitman left a note asking that his brain be studied to find out why he committed such acts of senseless violence, and an autopsy on his brain found a pea-sized tumour which may have made his impulses impossible to control. Whitman's grey matter was actually kept as part of a huge collection of preserved brains at the Austin State Hospital before the University of Texas eagerly took them off the hospital's hands. Brain collection. Yay. In the mid-1990s, researchers decided to take another look at Whitman's defective brain but couldn't find it in the university. It's possible it was thrown out after beginning to deteriorate, or was simply mislabeled or went missing during transfer, so the brain of a spree killer who could shed important light on the interaction between physical ailments and violent behaviour disappeared into the mists of time. Or the bin. Number 6. A load of nuclear weapons. How many nuclear bombs is too many nuclear bombs? 5? 5 seems like a lot. The United States has managed to lose 6. 2 of them vanished when the B-47 carrying them disappeared over the Mediterranean, and another one was on an A-4E Skyhawk when it rolled off the deck of an aircraft carrier in 1965. Don't worry about going down and finding it. It was too much effort. And those are just the ones we know about. During the breakup of the Soviet Union, thousands of nuclear weapons were stranded in former Soviet bloc countries like Ukraine, and it's highly unlikely that Russia clawed them all back. Safe then. Really safe. Number 5. Caravaggio's Nativity with St. Francis and St. Lawrence. Caravaggio, a Renaissance painter alleged to have killed a man over a game of tennis, is responsible for the masterpiece depicting the Nativity. This painting, with its authentically exhausted-looking Mary, was cut out of its frame in 1969 and never seen again. Its theft from the San Lorenzo Oratory in Italy was almost certainly orchestrated by organised crime, but who stole it, why, where it is now, and whether the law-abiding world is ever going to get it back is unknown. Number 4. The HONJO MASAMUNE. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, and I'm sorry. Perhaps the most famous samurai sword of all would be one made by Masamune, the greatest swordsmith in Japanese history. Born in 1264, some of his swords have survived, most of them considered national treasures of Japan. And in 1945, when the occupying American forces demanded all family swords be handed over, the Japanese nobility were outraged. An owner of one of the Masamune swords tried to diffuse the ensuing anger by giving his swords to a police station in a swanky part of Tokyo for safekeeping. But shortly afterwards, some guy pretending to be an American soldier walked into the station and said he should have all those swords, especially that really cool one there, and everyone was like, fine, that's cool, and the sword is still around today and safe. Not really, nobody knows where it is. Number 3, an entire Roman legion. Oh, for God's sake, really? Let's go back to 120 AD, a time when Britain was an island of face-painted maniacs worshipping the elements, Game of Thrones wildlings, if you will. Into this grim savage isle marched the Legio IX Hispania, again, don't know how to pronounce that, not Roman, which promptly vanished from Roman records. Forever. Considering it had anything up to 5,000 men, something really fun must have happened to it, and historians love speculating about what happened to them, especially given that the Romans were a right bunch of geeks what loved writing down tedious details, yet they never recorded what happened to the legion, creating the sort of juicy mystery that can keep historians selling books forever. Number 2. Peking Man. Peking Man is a collective term for a whole mess of fossilized bones dug up in China during the 1920s. They're up to 500,000 years old and provide an important source for studying the evolution of good old Homo sapiens, since they have all sorts of exciting features like how they kind of almost walked upright and showed evidence of using tools. Very important then. Paleontologists still get very excited today, arguing over what Peking Man means for the study of human evolution, but in 1941, while Beijing was under Japanese occupation, the Peking Man fossils were loaded into crates and taken away by a US Marine vehicle for transport by ship to America, but predictably, they never got there. The fossils were either lost when the ship carrying them sank, sold on the quiet for Chinese medicine, or swiped by a light-fingered GI. Great. Number 1. The original moon landing footage! Oh good. It's difficult to imagine a piece of footage more historically important than the 1969 moon landing. Thank goodness NASA have kept it safe and sound. Oh wait, no they didn't! It's gone! The original footage needed to be converted before it could be sent out to the world's TV sets, and that converted video is of a significantly lower quality than what was actually recorded. Even though plenty of space nerds have spent years trying to find it, the master is lost forever, and all we have now is this grainy rubbish. Look at it, it's so... God, what a waste! And that's our list. Make sure you subscribe to the Whatculture YouTube channel for more lists like this, and don't forget to visit whatculture.com for daily news and articles. I'm Ben from Whatculture, and thanks for watching.